Hi, I'm Pastor Grant. I'm the chaplain at Country House in Wilmington, Delaware. There's a verse that always has gotten me to think a lot, and I want to read that to you and give you some thoughts. That is one of the verses out of the Sermon on the Mount, and this one's out of chapter 5 of Matthew, verses 3. God blesses those who are poor and realizes their need for Him, for the kingdom of heaven is theirs. Chuck Swindoll tells a great story about before his mother's death in 1971. His mother did an oil painting for him, and it became a silent friend to him, as he talks about it, kind of a mute but eloquent expression of his calling into ministry and as her beloved son. It is a picture of a shepherd with its sheep. There's a man standing all alone with his crock at his hand, facing the hillside with the sheep there beyond as he looks. You cannot see the shepherd's face, but the little woolies surrounding him have personalities of their own. Some have the appearance of being devoted and living and loving. One looks kind of independent and stubborn, and another is starting to wander into the distance. But the shepherd is there with his flock, faithfully and diligently tending to those sheep. The rather large piece of art hangs in Pastor Swindoll's study with a light right above it. And there are times, he says, when I am bone weary after a long day, people demanding from me things as a pastor, my preaching, my teaching, my leading, or just meeting with people as I travel. He says, quite often, I find myself coming to that painting. I come home after a day like those tough ones I described, and I will come into my study and turn off the lights and leave only that one small light over the unique painting. He says it helps keep his perspective. It's a reminder. It's simple, it's silent, it's an affirmation that he's in the right place where God wants him to be, doing what God wants him to do. He says there's something very encouraging about taking a final look at the shepherd with his sheep at the end of the day. You know, when we look at the Beatitudes and all that was written there, Jesus pointed a portrait of a servant that is both enlightening, and it's very encouraging. And his promises are assuring. And he repeats those and he reminds us by saying, blessed are those who, and he affirms us as he says and describes those who he calls blessed. Poor in spirit, those who are mourning, those who are gentle, those who are hungry and thirsting after righteousness, those who are merciful, those who are pure in heart, those who are peacemakers, those who are persecuted. And I think as we turn out all the lights that distract us in life, it helps to concentrate our full attention on these 8 specific things. The question I think we all must face is, can such a person as this really influence a stubborn, competitive, strong-willed world that we live in? Is it possible for a servant to make an impact? My reply is yes. It is our task. In this taskless, tasteless, darkless world, we're to be servants who become the light by being a servant. Albert Einstein said it this way: only a life in the service of others is worth living. Will you be a servant today? I hope so.